What is up, folks? Welcome back to another live stream repair. Yes, it's back to HomePods for now. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and a half that we need to get through today. Oh boy. Well, let's go ahead and shoot our first repair a message so they can watch. There we go. So we've got DC 139 with, let's see if I can find their amp board. Here we go. Yes, so DC 139 here attempted their own repair. They were trying to replace these filters, and unfortunately they lost a couple of the pads. On our last stream, we traced where those pads go. This one has a test pad right here that we could have attached this cap to, but this pad unfortunately goes right to the DAC. So it wouldn't be an impossible repair. I mean, dare I say it wouldn't really be that difficult for us to do, but something doesn't really sit right with me trying to do that and counting on it lasting and working very well. So we're just gonna put in a fresh refurbished amp in number 139's HomePod here. I also got my latest order of parts from Mouser. Boy, do I love getting the reels. And of course I had to get more Schottky diodes too. Let's fill our parts up here. At least the diodes. I don't want to unpack my caps until I run out of those. I'm just dropping screws all over the place. My desk is a mess. Alright. Missed one. We got 100 more diodes. I'm gonna order a couple hundred more. You never know what's gonna happen. As for our filters here, I get these 1,000 at a time at least now. I'll probably order a few more thousand. I don't want to order too many of these because they only have a shelf life of about a year. And I don't want to go through having to recondition all of them and bringing them back into spec. I'd honestly rather just buy them in the quantity that I get through them. Okay. I think we are about all situated here. We need to source ourselves an amplifier board for number 139 here. Here's their mesh. And here is a candidate for such. Let's get the rest of the names and repairs up on the screen there. What else do we have here? We've got Kennedy. They sent 2 of them in. They've got no power. Then we've got an anonymous no power repair. We've got Rolando. with no power. We've got a James with some DC filters that need to be replaced. Another anonymous no power. Oh, new line. We've got Ninny with no power. Jab. I don't know if that's actually their first name, but we've got Jab with no power. Another anonymous no power. Wayne with a brick. And we're going to wrap it up with Stefan. They attempted their own repairs and got stuck, so we're going to see if we can't save them. Oof. Not the worst. Not the most painless queue. Cheers. Actually, let's shoot Kennedy a link since they're up next. All right, here we go. So what are we doing with this HomePod here if it's not number 139's here? This is number 139's. This is one of my parts pods. Now that I'm thinking about it, what are its current symptoms? It actually turns on and works just fine. So it has a good amp in there that we can use for number 139 here. And before we just stick it in there, we're going to do a little bit of refurbishment to it to make sure that it lasts for as long as possible. Stack that up in my pile. Oh, what is this? Is this what I hope it is? That's where I put this. Oh, I've got a perfectly good amplifier already right here. And I believe I've already refurbished this one. We've got a 36K data diode, so that one won't fail and cause no power issues. We've got our filters replaced. Well, gosh darn it. Let's give it a shot. Save myself a few minutes of time there. We'll go ahead and put in all of the screws that get covered up by the power supply first, and then I'm gonna get everything plugged in here. And we will just check and make sure that this is a perfectly good amplifier board here. I do believe this amp came out of a previous repair that we killed. Well, we thought we killed the bass on it, but it turns out the wires to my test sub had just simply gone bad. Alright, so it's turning on.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info, check the Home app.
Beautiful. Alright, that is a good amp. Now we have to be extra careful putting the rest of these screws in since we just applied power to all of this. There could be quite a bit in here that's still holding a charge. And I'm willing to bet that's probably what a lot of people end up accidentally doing, is they plug it in when it's halfway apart and test it, and they end up touching something extra sensitive and zapping it. First one, kind of expected to be pretty easy. We were just going to swap a new amp in there.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info, check the Home app. I'm having trouble.
All right. 139 is looking great again. Let's stick that to the side. Excuse me. We've got Kennedy to fix up next. Kennedy sent in 2 HomePods, both with the same no power issue, I presume. The cube has chosen Kennedy's pod. Here we go. What do we got for symptoms here? Yep, sure enough, no lights, no power, a couple of watts on the wall. That all looks to me like the usual dead diode. Let's get it fixed. Ooh. Lots of sprinkles, little glitters. I think one got in my eye. Jason, welcome back. Yes, sir. I'm starting to feel a little weird around here without a few HomePod repairs. And wouldn't you have it, another Steam Deck showed up today for a shell swap. This one's an OLED. Let's see if we can't crush this whole queue today so we've got time to do that Steam Deck tomorrow. Feels good to be back in the HomePods again, though. Alright, up close. We're going to knock out a little bit of maintenance first. Some new DC filters to keep the base nice and healthy and the death farts away. Since these are ceramic caps and all ceramic caps decay over time, whether they're being used or not, they go bad. We'll try to stay ahead of that with some new ones. Wonderful. Very good. Now let's knock out that dead diode. 46K or 48K dated, I'm sure. Yep, there's the 46K date code there. Let's put a bigger, better, higher quality one on there so that it doesn't fail again. What is up and welcome. I don't get a lot of minis in. I don't take a lot of mini repairs, mostly because I haven't found many common issues in them. The ones that I have taken, I haven't found a fix yet. And I would usually have to charge as much as you could just get another used one for. Unfortunately. With the rumors of a new Mini on the horizon, I'm sure we'll see the used market get flooded with used first-gen minis for folks here soon. Alright. Ah, dang, Jason. I bet when parts pop up for sale near you, it's they probably sell pretty fast. There have been a few people in my Discord server that have cracked open a couple of no power minis. I've seen things ranging from a shorted capacitor to a whole blown chip on one of the boards. It's basically kind of a mixed bag. There doesn't seem to be like a common failure for those. What's strange are the no power minis that I've bought in the past for myself to look into these issues. And about half of them, sure enough, they don't power on at all when I plug them to any adapter. But when I plug them into my Mac, they show right up in recovery mode, let me restore, and then work just fine right after that. Like, I can plug it into a wall adapter and use it, and I haven't had any problems since. And I've had that on like 5 or 6 minis now out of the 10 or 11 that I've bought or gotten sent to me broken. Not sure what to make of it. Maybe a cold solder joint that's just getting better or worse with different thermal conditions. But I would have expected to see them fail again sometime sooner than later. Oh, forgot the gasket. I see broken and used minis on sale all the time here for like 10, 20, 30, 40 bucks even. As low as still. Maybe like 50 or 60 for nice ones that are still working. Jason, chances are, yeah, we'll still be fixing. Get some good stuff. Oh, I wonder what we're gonna have for dinner tonight. What'll it be? Alright, let's let number 351 know that they're coming up next here.
I'm having trouble.
All right. If our name was Jim, we'd be on a roll here. Let's get the names switched up here. So we've already did Kennedy's first one. Here is their second one. After that, we've got number 351 there. Let's see if Kennedy's second HomePod is going to be the exact same thing. Chances are. It looks like it so far. Here we go. Zoom, what is up? Where is she? Oh yeah, I'm looking right at her. She's still up there. You know, I'll probably end up selling a lot of my old figures, but that one I'll probably keep forever. First of all, I mean, it's some knockoff. It's not even the real deal, so. Second of all, I don't think anyone would want to buy it after, well, in the condition it's in. It's all beat up. Oh, the solvent. The speaker basket here is glued down, right? We grab the flathead there in just a sec and pry it up. The solvent is 99% isopropyl alcohol, aka Tim's Tears, and it helps break this glue down make it a lot easier to pry this up. Nah, it's not a problem if you get it on the mesh. Well, the only time it would be a problem getting on the mesh is if things are too dirty. Like if there's a bunch of dust in there, then I imagine it could, if it soaks up the dust and then gets into the mesh, that could stain the mesh when it dries out. But I've never had that problem. The way that it's designed, all of the alcohol tends to not leak out into the mesh. When we're dripping it in right here. We're not dripping it on the outside. We're dripping it on the inside so that it seeps in against this wall in here where the glue sits. So it never actually, I don't think it ever has a chance to reach the mesh even if we use too much. Okay, y'all know the drill. Filters first. They go bad, they cause death farts. We replace them first. What's my current inventory size for the filters and diodes? That is a great question. I've never had anyone ask me that. I currently have only 120 or so diodes and like 1,200 filters or so. I would like to have about 10 times as much on hand, but it's A, kind of expensive to buy that much at once, and B, these filters have a shelf life of about a year, and I don't want to buy too many and have them go bad and have to recondition a bunch of them. I used to only buy the filters 100 at a time, and the diodes like 20 or 50 at a time, but that quickly only lasted me a week or so, or at best, or at worst, like maybe a week. And I was reordering parts like every other week. So I said, screw it. And what's crazy even then is when I get that many, like ordering that many parts and having that many on hand, I still end up needing to buy more at every month and a half to 2 months. Not every month, actually. The filters, we usually need more of the filters because the filters get replaced every time we have an amp in front of us because of how often those filters go bad and the consequences of what happens when they do go bad. They cause more damage. So these diodes, only a certain date range of these diodes get replaced. So not every HomePod needs a new diode. But every HomePod we take apart does and will get new filters. Polson, just saw your message there. Welcome back. Welcome to another live stream repair. And for any of you folks who may have missed it, yesterday we took a small break from the usual HomePods and knocked out a Steam Deck shell swap. And I had another Steam Deck show up today, an OLED model that needs a shell swap that we'll be knocking out tomorrow, hopefully. And in the next day or two, I should have a MacBook Pro showing up here that need new speakers. From where do I usually obtain my parts? Usually Mouser. Mouser usually has better prices than DigiKey. And better options for the filters that I want. Excuse me. Got the hiccups. Okay, they're gone. Yep, I like Mouser. I used to buy everything from DigiKey, and then I ran into a couple of different filters and capacitors that I wanted that I could really only find on Mouser, which is kind of strange. But with how many millions of different types and sizes and values of components out there, I can't be too surprised. Are the rubber gaskets specific for the HomePod? No, they're not. I have the size of the rubber gaskets that I use on my website, but unfortunately, I've kind of bought all of them out from anybody that sells them online. at least for less than $1 a piece. I'm not paying more than $1 for each per one of those gaskets, especially when I need to buy like hundreds of them. But the usual places that I bought these replacement subwoofer gaskets from, it's not an terribly uncommon O-ring size. It's just a little big. It's a little on the big side. You know, Kurt, first of all, welcome to another live stream repair. Welcome back. Second of all, I didn't mean to. But when I was buying them, for example, it's like the O-Ring store or O-Rings and More. I can't remember which one, but they have actual stock numbers on their website. And it's the same thing that I do when I go grocery shopping. I don't like to, if I'm going to buy a bunch of something, I don't like to buy all of it. I like to leave some for someone else. And that's what I tried for the longest time with these O-rings, with the hopes that they would eventually restock. Unfortunately, they haven't, and it's been months. I've started having to find options overseas and importing them. It's crazy. I could have just shut my mouth and not said anything about the free subwoofer gasket upgrade as part of every repair, and it wouldn't be a problem that I'd created for myself, but here we are. I'm actually debating adding an option to the repair form for people to pick whether they want to replace it with the rubber or keep the original foam. But before I do that, I want to take quality comparisons between the two, so people can hear the difference for themselves and decide. All things on the I'll get to it list. Yes, my pleasure, Kurt. Never know what they're going to go through in shipping. I've had some sent in to me for repair that I believe were purely needed repairs from nothing other than shipping damage in the first place. Part of why I stopped, I've actually started advising against the shipping in the original HomePod boxes. They don't seem to actually do very good. I find far too often bent up subwoofers and cracked plastic tops when people ship with the original box, that I've started saying don't use them if you can help it. It's better than nothing, but it's that's about all you can say. We're doing good on our pacing here. We're sitting right at about 20 to 22 minutes of HomePod here. If we can keep it up, we'll be done in a reasonable time. Really? That's actually a great price for a box from a shipping store. They typically want to charge out the butt for anything there. All right, we've got Rolando up next. Let's let them know. Here we've got number 351. Rolando. Here we are.
I'm having trouble.
Nice. 2 for 2 for Kennedy there. Unfortunately, they weren't able to make it to our live stream, but they said they'll watch the replay later. So I hope they enjoy, and I hope they have fun out there. Here we go, number 351. What's going on here? No lights, no power. The usual power draw. Goodness, if it isn't another dead diode. Here we go. Mike! What is up? Welcome back. Welcome, welcome. I did get your box today, yes. I should be able to take a peek at that on, I'm hoping, tomorrow's stream. If we can get through all of these today, then we should be able to. But you must wait your turn. You are not a Delta Platinum. You are economy class. If you would like to upgrade to platinum status, you can pay us. You can pay us a couple hundo, and we'll cut you in front of the line here for you. Have I opened it? I opened the box. I haven't unwrapped the HomePod itself yet. I opened the box and got the gasket and your message. I'm hoping. I mean, if it's anything other than the logic board, then we can keep it. We can keep the repair cheap and easy. But I swear, Mike, if you fried a perfectly good logic board. No, I'm just kidding. I am curious how that happened. I'm gonna try to figure out if that failure on the power supply was something that originally happened in there, or if that happened at some point after from some goofball trying to fix it up. Oh, is there something other than the HomePod and the gasket in there? Oh shit. Let me go look. I'm kind of scared, man. Make me nervous. Make me nervous, Mike. Oh. 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 Is that a flashlight? Is that a little flashlight? Read me. Oh no. This is a prank? Okay. Dang, that is a really cool design too, Mike. Love ya. Let's see what it do. It even comes with an Oh, this is perfect. I'll actually have a flashlight. This is wonderful. Ooh. Yes. That is very good. Let's see if we hold it up here. That is a substantial amount of light right there, good sir. Thank you kindly. Ooh. Oh, and they give you some extra little gaskets in there too. Very nice. Well, I suppose if you're not gonna use that, we will. You have like 50 of them. You work at a gas station? Or did you try buying some boxes off Amazon and they sent you 50 flashlights instead? You just like them so you keep buying more. Is this like a... Is that like an actual... Is that an actual thing that the kids say these days? They can't stop buying their Olights? Is Olight a big brand out there? I'm not a flashlight guy. baton. What is this, like the mag light equivalent? Yeah, you better spell that Nick right. There's no K there. It's not Nicholas. It's not Nick with the K. Kurt, my man, that just hit me right in my birth year. You just struck me right in my soul. Fix-a-rooney. You know, I was considering making my business name that, but I went with Nick's Fix instead. It just felt a little more publicly approachable, I guess you could put it. Easier to find and type in. Oh yeah, my kid's middle name is A1639, the model number of HomePods. Listen, if Elon can name their kid Zeta XY, whatever, if Elon can name their kid whatever the heck they named their kid, I can make my kid's middle name A1639. Mike, there's one that I want to say that I don't want to say because I don't want to get in trouble. There's a particular HomePodism that just, ooh, it'd be a good one. I'll give you a hint. It's along the theme and rhythm of I'm Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs, but instead I'm something for home. Oh, I can't even. I'm sorry. It's dumb. I'm dumb. What kind of diode do we have here and now? Of course, it's the 48K. Wow, you guys and your flashlights. I'm gonna have to look into these guys now. You got me really curious. I don't need another hobby to spend a bunch of money I don't have on. I need to doomsday prep. Let me doomsday prep. And let me buy a bunch of parts. Let me buy thousands of capacitors and diodes. I don't need to be buying a bunch of flashlights. Well, okay, actually, you can't have too many flashlights in a doomsday, right? Oh, Costco has the like $1,200 or $1,400 freeze dryer out right now. It was really tempting, but I kind of need new tires too, and my wife kind of needs new tires too. We're refilling our tires like every other day. Freeze dryer. Oh, that's on the list. I open it up. Every time I go to Costco, I open it up. And I wiggle the tray around a little bit, and I go, yep, that's solid, good, nice, solid construction right there. And then I close it up and I walk away. Oh, crunchy ice cream. Spaceman ice cream. You can make so much of your own space food. I don't have the time, let alone the money to buy a freaking freeze dryer right now, though. Those things, apparently, it's not so much a set it and forget it kind of process. It's more like a moderate maintenance, long term, maybe even multi-day kind of ordeal just to freeze dry a batch at a time. Now, I think what I'm really waiting for is for like a big old commercial freeze dryer to pop up on Craigslist for a good deal. Technology connections video on the freeze dryer. Was it? I did recently watch someone's video on some super cheap freeze dryer, and that was pretty much what made me hesitate on jumping on one. It might have been Technology Connections. Actually, Mike, I almost used your rubber. I set it to the side here. I specifically do not want to use your rubber with someone else. But I've got it. I'm keeping it safe here to the side. Oh, yeah. I have a ton of white power cords. So if you want to get something colored up, that's no big deal for me to chuck a power cord in there too, yeah. Do I have? Oh, you know what? Yeah, I've got quite a few. I only have like 2 or 3 space gray power cables left. I'm kind of surprised oh, no. I forgot about the like 12 I have plugged into the wall over there. That's right. I used a bunch of the space gray ones for testing stuff. We're all good. Yeah, I got power cables.
trouble. I'm having trouble.
All right. On to the next one, Rolando, no power. And then after that, we've got James. Let's see what's going on here. No lights, certainly no power, and the usual power draw from the wall for a dead diode. Here we go. Life would be a lot simpler if we were all just dead diodes indeed. Our only expectation would be to work until the warranty expires. Lando, what is up? Glad you could make it to your repair here. Yeah, chances are with how many HomePods are out there, your other one should keep going for a long time without a problem. And you won't have to worry about it. Don't mind Mike there in the chat. He's well, he's different. Got a good subwoofer there. I'll give you $10 for it. And I'll give you a shipping label. Alright, first up, some new filters to keep the farts away. If only it was this easy when I started getting gassy. I haven't tasted any of the filters yet. I have tried out the diodes. And they taste kind of like if you burned, like, you know those black plastic spatulas for cooking? And like, imagine if you had like burned one of those. It's kind of what it tastes like. Yeah, these are the tricks that all the big YouTube fixers don't tell you about. If you can't figure out how to fix something, just eat it. It will tell you. It'll teach you the ways. Yeah. In and out faster than I can email you back.
trouble. I'm having trouble.
Beautiful. On to James here. The cube has chosen James number 46. James has bad DC filters, which I believe their HomePod is already experiencing the infamous death farts. Let's give it a quick listen here. See how loud it pops when it wakes up. Alright. Not the worst I've heard, but definitely at the point where it could use some new filters here. I thought so. There's a few cracks on the top here. All around. There's a few right there. A few right here. There's another one right over here. Okay, I'll double check what box they sent this in and make sure that if it's what they sent it into us that caused it, that it doesn't happen on the way back. Oh, that's right. They want a new mesh too, if I'm not mistaken. They want us to try to clean this one up, maybe replace it if we can't. I do see some physical damage on the mesh, so I think we will go ahead and just replace it instead of try cleaning it. We can make it as clean as we want, but it's still gonna have like that, for example. Ooh, you want me to judge your work, Mike? It'll be my pleasure. Oh, awesome. James just let me know that he's watching. And he is cool with paying for a new mesh if we think that's best. It's up to you. I can clean this up and make it look clean. But that might stick out. But it's up to you. It won't look perfect, but we can go with the less perfect option for free, or we can get you looking perfect for whatever I quoted you. We do not have a stinky subwoofer, so this is still in great shape. It has survived its torture. Well, looks like James got pretty lucky on this one. Got to it pretty early into these issues. It doesn't look like it damaged anything else. Just the filters went bad, nothing more. We do have a 46K dated diode on there, so we'll replace that so it doesn't fail and cause no power as well. But that basically makes this no different than most of our repairs here. Let's get those filters first. Oh, James got a great deal on this. You mind me sharing with the rest of the chat here, James, what you paid for this? That is excellent. Man, I'm gonna have to go to more yard sales. Now, James, you know breaking into their house and leaving a $20 bill in place of their stuff is not the same as a yard sale, right? So there's our 46K dated diode. It still works here and now, but these are the date codes that fail, that we see failing and causing no power, so we'll get that replaced so this HomePod doesn't come back to us for that. We can't prevent every issue that we've ever seen happen on a HomePod unless you want to pay us to practically rebuild and replace everything on the boards. But this diode, those filters are the two things that we consistently see causing issues here. And that's what we can reasonably prevent. Keep an eye on Mike there. I'm sure he's going to ask me to rebuild a whole HomePod for him fresh. Down to every single little capacitor and resistor. Mike is pretty high maintenance there. We got to do a lot to keep him happy. Ooh, I can't sell you a trash bin HomePod because I want to use those parts in someone else's HomePod and hope that they never notice the issue. God, that'd be awful. Yeah, James scored this at a yard sale for $20. That's one heck of a deal. Mike is offering you $40 for your HomePod, James. That's doubling your money. That's a tempting offer, and one that I can't beat. Someone at work messaged me And they made the mistake of saying when you get the chance. Oh, I'll get to you. I'll get to you eventually. Nobody tell Mike I said this, but if you need me, if you need my attention ASAP, you don't say when you get a chance. That's how you get my attention tonight or tomorrow. Everybody needs me right now. It's gotten to the point where anytime I get a message from anybody, it's just like, oh geez, oh man, I gotta, something's on fire, right? You get into put fire out mode. And when I see them say when you get a chance, it's like a, okay, I can worry about that later. What did I just do? I just took this back apart. Why did I take this back apart? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Y'all are distracting me. Y'all are very distracting. What have I done? Did I like... Did I start putting the screws into the amp and then just take them back out? And don't laugh at me, I've been working since like 3 in the morning. Went to bed at midnight. Back of the queue. Yep, well, looks like we're all out of time for James now. We're gonna have to get back to them this weekend and... Well, there goes my 20-minute pace for this one. Dang it. Maybe if we put the rest of the screws in extra fast, we'll catch up. Nick, you actually forgot to replace the filter. Don't mess with me. I can see the flux. That's actually what if it wasn't the flux that was still there, I would have gone in and probably replaced those diode filters again. Nick and his absolute legendary record-breaking screw-driving speeds. Rumor has it, Nick only uses the electric screwdriver because I don't know. But Nick can screw a screw in faster than faster than the electric. I just choose the electric to save on the calories. Ooh, Esteban, you got a second gen with touch issues? Unfortunately, the only fix for that is disconnecting the touch panel itself, since there's no replacement for... There's no, like, you can't just buy a replacement touch panel from Apple. But that is the problem. Ghost touches and unresponsive touch panels are usually just a faulty touch panel. And most people just take their HomePod apart and unplug it and live without the touch input.
Hi. Yeah. Yeah, I see you.
I was talking to you, Mike. I see you. Uh-oh. That kid just found out that she's gonna have to pay her taxes soon. Or maybe she just found out about the inevitable heat death of the universe. I'm not sure which one it is. You never know. 332 is up next.
I'm having trouble connecting.
Alright. James, I'll give you some options after the stream here. We can clean this mesh for free. We can replace the mesh and this top. I'll give you a quote over text here after the stream and let you decide what you want to do. If it was me personally, I wouldn't spend any more money on it than what I need to get it back and working again. I could care less how it looks. If it works just as well, then that's me. Some people really care about how these look. Here we go. We've got number 332 with no power. Do I have to disassemble again to clean the mesh? A little bit. It's a trivial amount of effort compared to a full repair disassembly. So we've got no lights, no power, a couple of watts at the wall here. I'll go ahead and show you as far as I take it apart in order to replace the mesh. Of course, you got to get the top off. And once we've already taken it apart, getting the top back off is pretty easy. Then we have our display, of course. And then the last piece up top here is this mid-frame and the logic board. Once you get these out, that's all you have to touch up top. You can flip the HomePod upside down, remove the rubber base and the 3 T5 Torx screws holding the base of the HomePod, and the mesh will slide right off. Do I have? Oh, I don't know what I have on hand, but I've got a couple of craft stores nearby and Amazon that I usually order whatever color people want the day their HomePod arrives. I showed you my dies. Please respond. I like... It's a toss-up, really, between them all. I prefer email the most because it's easiest for me to keep organized and what's the word? Sort of triage people and their priorities. Messages, like text messages and Discord messages are actually the easiest but also the worst because I usually forget about them. Text messages, usually I'm on top of, but I usually get a lot of them at the same time, and then I forget to reply or don't have the time to reply to everybody at the same time and have to put it off for a few hours, and then sometimes I forget to reply, so then it feels weird texting somebody back like a day or two later, treating it like an email. But that's what I do. I treat my text messaging like emails. I tend to not like to immediately reply to everybody and everything all the time. But whatever you do, be it texting or Discord or email, keep it consistent, keep it in the same place. If you bounce around, if you go between Discord and texting and emailing me, then it gets annoying and confusing. Because now I gotta mentally keep track of who you are in all three different places, and if you saw what I said there, and you are a perfectly capable person, Mike, but there are some people that have been an absolute nightmare to meet. Not really like terrible or awful, just really moderate to high maintenance, like the opposite of chill. It's always ironic when the people that are like the most uptight end up making the biggest mistakes after blaming you for it. And then you catch them and they're like, then it's all candor from there. Oh, it'll be a night to remember now that I can see thanks to the flashlight. Thank you, mate. It's a 46K over here. Let's get that replaced. No and no, Mike. No. Ooh. I don't know if you know or know, Mike, but it does. It does. And, if you ever have kids one day, they'll definitely be reading these chat logs. All right. I wonder if this is on an older version or if they have Siri disabled. But in any case, I will be right back. Okay. I am getting hungry. It is getting late. So we've got time for one more here. we are gonna fix up Ninny's HomePod. Here it is. Oh yeah, sorry about that. I had to return some videotapes. Alright, let's get Ninny up here with no power. No lights, no power, 6 watts from the wall. What am I drinking? I ran out of my favorite, the Kirin Ichiban, so I've fallen back to my Sapporo here. God told me, Jesus whispered directly into my ear that that one was okay. We're good. I spoke to him about it earlier. He said all is fine. Every time I say this is the last one, it always wants to put up the biggest fight. Get apart! Come on! You're gonna have to ban me, Mike? Well, I guess you're gonna have to take over. Gonna need you to clear up the rest of this repair queue for me. Oh, Jason, I am so sorry to disappoint, but I have got about 2 calories left in my body, and we are running out of time here, so we'll get Ninny fixed up here, and then we're gonna save these other 4 for tomorrow, once I've had a chance to recuperate and catch up with work and everything else. I'm sure it's going to take a few hours of my time to figure out whatever Mike was telling me earlier. So, whew. I'm going to open up my Discord and it's just going to be thousands of unread notifications from Mike. Okay, tell you folks what. Since Mike's should be pretty easy to at least figure out what it's gonna need. I do want to see what Mike's HomePod needs before we end today. So, okay, how about this? We'll fix Ninny's HomePod, and then we'll diagnose Mike's HomePod. We'll see what he messed up. But no more fixes after that, guys. Seriously. After that, we're done for the day. Oh, that's what they all say, Mike. That's what they all say. It was already like that. No, I swear. No, I'm just kidding. I know in your case in particular it was actually it's actually a case of I got it like this. There we go. Free pods are always the most fun. Really proves the sunken cost fallacy. And I'm here to make sure it exists. When you got it, were you told or did you know that it was already worked on? I mean, all in the name of free, it doesn't really matter, but... Was that your first time taking a HomePod apart? Have you ever been in a cockpit before? I'm just kind of curious, at what point did you realize it wasn't the first time it had been taken apart? At least for me, that this plastic top is a dead giveaway. As soon as I stick my pry tool under this, I can tell if it's been worked on before or not. You can't hide it from me. There it is, our 48K dated diode that's very much dead. Huh. Alright, so we all found out together. Pretty much. Wow. Basically, it should be difficult to get the plastic top off. It shouldn't be easy. Did you ask, have you talked to the person you got it from since then? And they were like, oh yeah, I tried fixing it, and my dog ended up like drooling all over it, so I gave up. That is exactly correct, Mike. I'm not implying for everything. Once a tool has been inserted, you can tell if a tool has been inserted. But for HomePods in particular, I can tell. I can tell. Yeah, but like, have they admitted yet to having taken apart themselves? Or are they just as surprised that it had been previously worked on? You know it wasn't him. Interesting. So they bought it open box from like, well, I think the only place that you can buy open box HomePods from is Best Buy. So that means somebody had already tried fixing their HomePod and then took it back to Best Buy, where your friend bought it and it worked for them until it broke and they gave it to you for free. At least Best Buy is the only place I know you can buy open box HomePods. Open box and refurb would be Apple or Best Buy. But you can't, you won't get that through Apple. You would only get something like that through Best Buy. That is interesting. What was the issue with the original amp? Why, what was it given to you for in the first place? The plot is thickening. Like adding cornstarch and boiling the water off to your soup. It's getting real thick. Selectively like tie-dye, but more precise blobs. I haven't. The only thing I could think, the only combinations possibly that I could think of is if you had the pot half full so the water only came half up to the mesh, and then you did one color on the bottom half and then flipped it upside down and did the other. Basically anything that you could do where you could retain the shape of the mesh on an original shell. So manipulating the water level or where the water sits, but you wouldn't be able to bundle up or mess with the mesh itself because you need the water to get hot enough to make the mesh take the dye. And at that temperature, if you aren't holding the mesh at its original shape, then it will take whatever shape that it is in when you put it in the hot water and ruin it. Non-synthetic dyes and or cold water don't really work very well. It just doesn't get saturated very well. But maybe other people have ideas or other materials that we could use to get around that. Yeah, even that's what I do is I don't bring it to boiling. I do just below boiling. Boiling is way too hot. The mesh delaminates, and even if you hold its shape, it'll ruin it at boiling. You gotta do like I hold it at 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and that usually works really well if you take it out after 20 to 30 minutes. Longer tends to ruin it. When I have the time, I'll have to just run a batch of comparisons and see at what point I actually get a considerable drop off, because I feel like based on my experience up to this point, what I've seen, pretty much anything under 200, it's a dramatic drop off. Like if you can get it to 200, it's a significant difference. Anything above 200 isn't very noticeable. Anything below 200 starts to be really noticeable. But that 200's that real sweet spot. But I'll have to play with 190, 180, 150, and even 100 and compare side by side the results. These are really tricky because the very outermost layer can take the color, but it doesn't quite penetrate very well until you really crank the heat up.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. I'm having trouble connecting.
All right. Well, with Mike threatening my family, I suppose we'll look at their HomePod before we end today's stream. Here we go. I gotta say, that is interesting. I don't think I've had such an elaborate assembly like that yet. Oh, there's writing under here. What's it say? Amp board refurbished, power, blah blah blah. Okay. Yeah, there's no saving that mesh. Okay, so what's really confusing is the spot on the logic board here doesn't correlate to anything underneath. Like there's subwoofer here and that's it. So they must have done this. Here's what happened. I know what happened. Mike, I figured it out. It just played back in my head like a freaking movie, like a movie scene. They were trying to fix this themselves. I don't know what their original issue was. But they were trying to fix this themselves, and when they had it apart, and they were testing it, and while they had power going into it, they must have dropped the logic board onto the power supply and shorted the power supply out. Chances are the logic board is still good. And we just need a new power supply in here. I'm willing to take that shot. And they may have even had the amplifier board out of the HomePod with the but I think they had it dangling to the side here, or maybe like balanced like this, and then it fell in there and shorted out on the power supply. And then they probably said, "Oh shit," put it together, took it back to Best Buy, said, "Oh, it doesn't work anymore. I don't know what happened." Just like that too. And that's what I'm talking about, folks. Mike posted pictures of this in our Discord server, but we've got a blown cap there, and I mean, it's obvious. It lines up perfectly. The distance between those 2 points on the shield of the logic board and the power supply. Well, there you go. Mike, you kind of messed up here. We do have a broken inductor on the amplifier board here. Oh no, and the caps are crushed. Oh no. Okay. You did need to put the rings holding the sub in, or pack the subwoofer separate from the amp. But what happened when you subsequently, when you sent this in to us with the subwoofer packed in here like this, even with all the bubble wrap, it smushed our amplifier. Oh, my poor amplifier. You killed it. You killed it good. I mean, honestly, honestly, it probably still works too. Oh man, it smacked them all. I'm really tempted to try this. I'm really tempted to try turning this on. Okay. I'm gonna do it with a logic board that I'm not so worried about destroying if this goes just totally bonkers here. Here's a logic board that produces sound in its factory reset, but it does not show the setup prompt when I bring any phone nearby. So it has some sort of maybe wireless module issue. Okay, here is a good power supply. I'm giving it a 50-50 chance here. I'm 50% chance that it works without a problem. But 50% chance that something gives us an absolute spectacle here when we plug it into power. I am frankly really nervous. Alright, I'm going to close my eyes when I plug this in, and if anything interesting happens, I'll just watch the replay here. We have a brief jumped up to 3 watts, and then it goes back down to 1. I don't smell nothing funny. Dang, I was really hoping that amp was still okay. I wouldn't even really want to give it back to you if it did work. I just wouldn't feel good about how long that would last. Quite the predicament. Well, let's see if you're... Where's your logic board? Let's see if your logic board at least works. And we'll go from there. Okay, it's turning on. Alright, and then the other big question is, does it produce any sound? Wow. I do not like any of this. This is holy foobard. The only other thing that I can try to save this logic board and to make this worth repairing really at this point is resetting this logic board, and hopefully that's all it needs to get the sound back. But if they were really unlucky, then the logic board was turned on when this happened, and it might have sent potentially 100+ volts straight through everything connected to ground on the logic board, since the RF shield is ground, and it's a common ground for a lot of the components. Some are very sensitive, but when you're shunting 100+ volts through it, there's not much you can do about that. It's ooh. Oh, it did not beep 3 times on the reset. This is cooked. Mike, I'm gonna think about what I can do for this one for you, and we'll talk about it. All right, let me think about it, and then we'll talk about it. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this live stream repair and a rather unhappy ending to the parts for Mike's HomePod here, but we have always got more HomePods that are waiting to get fixed, and we've also got a Steam Deck that has a shell swap waiting to happen. We've got a MacBook Pro that needs new speakers. We have got quite the arrangement here. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Goodbye.